Royal wedding shock this evening. Princess Leonor weds Prince Christian in Copenhagen. A future queen, a foreign prince, an ancient monarchy, but no one expected this. Tonight, the crown bends. The rules break, and Europe changes forever. The bells of Copenhagen rang out tonight. But they didn't just announce a wedding. They announced a shift, a royal realignment that no historian could have predicted. Princess Leonor of Spain, heir to the Spanish throne, married Prince Christian of Denmark in a royal ceremony kept secret until it unfolded before the world's eyes. No public courtship, no formal engagement announcement, just love, sudden, unapologetic, and undeniable. And now the world is trying to make sense of what just happened. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Leonor, trained since childhood to be queen, was expected to marry a Spaniard, someone within the elite aristocracy or a vetted European diplomat. Instead, she's chosen Denmark's future king, a man born into royalty but raised with a different tradition, a different set of expectations, and a different future entirely. Why Christian? Why Copenhagen? Why tonight? The story begins long before this evening. The two met as teenagers during a discreet royal summit in Majorca. An annual tradition where heirs to the European thrones are introduced in carefully curated settings, no press, no cameras, no commitments. Just observation, compatibility, diplomacy dressed as leisure. Leonor, quiet but observant, was drawn to Christian's openness. He, in turn, was fascinated by her discipline, so different from the more relaxed royal culture of Denmark. What began as casual conversation turned into handwritten letters, then encrypted video calls, then private meetings during official visits. For years, it remained hidden. Even their closest advisors weren't fully aware of the depth of their bond. But what made it real, what made it dangerous, was that it wasn't political. It wasn't arranged. It wasn't expected. It was love. And love in royal circles is rarely convenient. King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia were not pleased when they learned how serious things had become. It wasn't about Christian as a person, it was about optics. Spain's royal family has spent decades rebuilding public trust after years of scandal and skepticism. Leonor has been the hope, the clean slate, the perfect heir. This marriage, to some within the palace, threatened that carefully built narrative. And in Denmark, there was tension too. Queen Mary, ever the strategist, saw the complications. Two heirs, two crowns, two countries, one marriage. What would happen when duty called? Which nation would be prioritized? But Christian didn't flinch. Neither did Leonor. Together, they crafted a plan, unprecedented, bold, and full of risk. The wedding would happen on their terms. Quietly, suddenly, before politics could interfere. It was Queen Margrethe, Christian's grandmother, who ultimately gave her blessing first. Having stepped down earlier this year, she understood the loneliness of rule. The burden of duty without companionship. She told Christian, a crown is heavy, but love makes it bearable. In Spain, the royal council was blindsided. Sources say King Felipe had no idea the date had been set. That when the world found out, he found out too. And yet, within hours, he flew to Copenhagen. Not in protest, not in defeat, but because he realized something fundamental. Leonor was no longer just a daughter. She was a woman, and a leader. The ceremony took place in the heart of Copenhagen, in the historic Christiansborg Palace Chapel, small by royal standards but steeped in significance. No foreign dignitaries, no world leaders, just family, just love. Queen Letizia walked her daughter down the aisle. A quiet gesture, a powerful message, one that said, "You are not alone." Leonor wore a gown designed by a Spanish-Danish collaboration. Intricate lace from Valencia, sewn with royal embroidery techniques from Copenhagen dating back to the 17th century. A symbolic union of two histories. As the vows were exchanged, Leonor didn't promise obedience. She promised partnership. She didn't speak only as a bride. She spoke as a future queen. As someone ready to lead beside, not behind, her chosen king. The world watched in real time. News broke in Madrid at 6:47 p.m. local time. Social media exploded. Supporters flooded the streets in celebration. But not everyone was cheering. Traditionalists called it betrayal, a weakening of Spain's sovereignty, a reckless move that could cost Leonor her crown. But others saw it differently. They saw a woman claiming her story. A royal finally writing her own chapter. It's not just about love. It's about strategy, unity, power through connection. Already, analysts are debating what this means. Will Spain and Denmark form a new kind of royal alliance? Will Leonor reign from Madrid, with Christian stepping back in Denmark? Or will the two rotate, reshaping the very idea of monarchy in Europe? The Spanish constitution has no clause for an heir marrying another heir. This is legal gray area. It will force changes, revisions, modernization. Some say Leonor has just walked the monarchy into chaos. Others say she's walked it into the future. And what of Prince Christian? Is he giving up his place in Denmark's line? Not likely. The palace has indicated both will retain full titles. But what happens when they each must serve their nations? Where will they live? Whose people come first? These questions are real, and they remain unanswered. But tonight wasn't about answers. It was about a decision. A stand. In the reception that followed, Leonor gave a toast. Not written, not rehearsed, just from the heart. I was born into duty, raised for service. But tonight, I begin the part of my life I choose. And I choose him. I choose love. And I choose to lead, with that love, not despite it. Queen Mary reportedly wept. Queen Letizia smiled through tears. And King Felipe raised his glass, after hours of silence, with a single line, "May your reigns be brave, and your hearts even braver." There was no ball, no press conference, just a quiet departure into the Copenhagen evening, the newlyweds disappearing behind palace doors, while the world tried to catch its breath. Tonight, royal history changed. Not with a revolution, not with a scandal, but with a kiss, a promise, and a choice that shook centuries of protocol. Some will call it reckless. Others, romantic. But everyone will remember it. Because Princess Leonor didn't just marry a prince tonight. She made a statement. That love is not weakness. That crowns can bend. That the future will not wait for permission. It will be claimed. And as the royal flags fly in two countries, the world now watches, not for the fairy tale, but for what comes next. A queen in waiting. A prince beside her. Two thrones. One story. Forever changed.